What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Italian Stallion, here for another episode of Stallion Speaks. What a great weekend. Let me just tell you this, guys. I was like, wow, it's really quiet today. And I was just thinking to myself, I wonder what coach is going to get fired today. And I'm at the Tennessee Duke exhibition game. Talk about that here in a second. And I don't know who's going to join me tonight, but I'm just going to say this. I just want everybody to come on tonight. Talk to me. What got you this week or weekend of sports? Was it football, pro, college? Was it the NBA that started this week? Was it this exhibition game tonight between the Vols and Duke? Really entertaining game. Let me tell you something. That's when college basketball is fun, when you're not beating up on some patsy, when you understand who is good and what you got to work on. And luckily it didn't count in the standings, and you want to be ready for that team when you play them in March. That's the goals. But that being said, though, I'm going to share the link right now to anybody that would like to come on. Honestly, I'm going to put it in the chat box. Don't be shy. We're all friends here. Here at Stallion Speaks, a little bit edgier. And I want to thank everybody that watched the first show. Honestly, I can't thank you guys enough. That's the link right here coming up. I'm going to show it there. So yeah, that's the link. If you want to come on, come talk sports with me for a few minutes. But don't know who's going to come on or not. But I just want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart that has supported the Rebels with the Cause channel. We have over now, and actually I need to update that because we actually had a couple of subscribers since I created this banner a couple of hours ago before the game. But I just want to give a shout out to our 119 subscribers, over 17,000 views. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. We appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, whether it's myself, Two-Pair Tate, the coach himself, Mr. Shane O'Mac, Kerry, Big Game, Kerry Reeves, anybody that's affiliated with us, we really thank you. And your support makes us just keep wanting to expand this. And we've got some great shows coming as everybody gets their schedules organized, and going to bring you a lot of content, a lot of different type of shows, all on this network. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a little bit of everything for everybody, honestly. So as we continue to expand and grow, and shout out to the UTalk family, that we've kind of evolved from them as the, now that's a joke. It's a true thing. And by being with those guys and learning from them and continue to learn from them, hopefully I can bring you guys different type of content up here in Tennessee and so forth, with the same goal, just to entertain and really just get some stuff out there, honestly. But let me just tell you this. Also, real quick, the views and opinions of this program are not affiliated with any other organizations. This is solely the Italian Stallions views. And baby, it's about to get edgy tonight and so forth. And like I said, join that chat box live or click on the show link to come on live with us as to view your opinions. So, but like I said, it's there for you if you want to be on. And that's it right there in the chat box. But without further ado, I was going to start off with this college basketball exhibition game tonight with Duke and Tennessee. Duke won 83-76. Tennessee in the first half really made some big shots. Duke never really took the lead in the first half. I mean, they would get it close to like 1 or maybe trim the lead to 3, but Tennessee just looked really good with their players that they've added. Nate Ament was just phenomenal. I mean, if he makes a couple of more free throws in that first half, that would have generated a second shot. Maybe Tennessee's the one that is up 83-76 here at the end. But credit to Duke, they found a way to win. Cam Boozer did his thing, and Pat Gongba, who's just their backup, their third center from last year's team, is actually the only center they have right now. Kaman Maluwach is in the NBA, and I believe Malik, I can't think of his name, he's still saddled with a little bit of an injury. I guess he had shoulder surgery, and he hasn't been quite yet cleared to play. but that's a senior leader on their team that they are that they really counted on at times last year and didn't really have him fully healthy for their tournament run. But he's supposed to be their best defensive player and also can make the three from the perimeter, a transfer from Syracuse from last year. But they didn't have him. But Pat Gongba was saddled with fouls in the first half, picked up 3, didn't get his 4th one till about the 9-minute mark left in the second half. Maybe it was even 10 minutes. But in that 10 minutes, he was a difference, grabbing rebounds, just really kind of putting a presence there that wasn't there in the first half where Tennessee was attacking. I kind of felt that Tennessee at times just fell in love with the 3-point shot and wasn't really attacking the paint. And then when they finally did attack the paint, Duke just had one of them runs that they're known for, the margins. And realistically, Duke missed 3 open threes from 3 different shooters that normally probably make that shot. You take advantage of it. Tennessee cut it to 3, but then unfortunately Duke, they had to foul Duke just to try to maintain possessions. Duke knocks down their free throws, and that's the final margin. What I have a problem with tonight, and I'm calling out Vol fans right now, okay? I'm here, and it's 10:22. I actually thought that I'd be going on at 10:30. I started at 10:15 tonight. I saw people leaving with the 7-minute mark. Now, listen. I know it's an exhibition, okay? But this is Tennessee basketball. This is our team. We pride ourselves that we're the best fans and all that. But guys, Duke was only up by 9 points at the 7-minute mark. And people are headed for the exits. I've got work tomorrow. What the hell are we talking about here? And thank goodness for the fans that stayed and really made it difficult, especially at the last minute mark. You should be ashamed of yourselves for leaving early. It wasn't that big of a margin. Did anybody not watch the Final Four last year where Duke collapsed against Houston? I mean, and they almost did it again tonight, and they could have used you. I don't give a damn if it's a exhibition or it's a practice game amongst friendlies or, leave early for what? There's nothing going on. It's Knoxville on a Sunday night. So you have work tomorrow. Whoopee. I beat the traffic, took a shuttle bus to the ag campus, got in my car, left, came here. Unbelievable. Do better, Tennessee. This team looks outstanding tonight. I mean, preseason 17, I think more like 11 from what I saw tonight. They're big, they're physical, they can knock down the 3. They're still trying to figure it out. They're going to be a problem. And they gave it to Duke in every sense of the way. I mean, look at Tennessee's roster, look at Duke's roster. Duke's got a bunch of 5-stars. We have 1 in Nate Ament. I mean, I was ashamed as an alum. I stayed till the end. Yeah, it was a bitter pill to swallow. But at the same time, come on. What are we talking about here? I mean, just shameful. Could have used you. That atmosphere in the first half scared them. And then everybody was sitting on their hands and knees when they made their run. That's what Duke has been known for, if you follow basketball. But man, how cool was it when John Shire decides to put Cam Boozer and thinks he's Cooper Flagg at the top of the key, confuses him with his own brother, that's the actual point guard. Tennessee steals the ball, get down there for a layup, lead to 3. What the hell were you doing, Tennessee, tonight? I'm about to bring on my brother. I'm sure he can bring just a couple of things to this before we get to the real juicy stuff. But without further ado, give my favorite Ragin' Cajun the welcome he deserves. The one, the only, the great Larry Frank Jr. What's up, baby? How you doing?
Hey, brother, what's happening?
Yeah, brother, I'm fired up tonight. I mean, I was going to start off with this game, win or lose for Tennessee. You know what I'm the most mad about? I'm not mad at the Tennessee effort. I'm mad at the fans leaving with 7 minutes to go here. And Duke was only up 9.
Mm.
And Tennessee cuts it to 3. People are going for the exits, and I'm like, what's going on in Knoxville on a Sunday night? And I don't want to hear work as an excuse. I got to be at work at 8 in the morning, and I stayed. I got here at 10:15. I think the game ended slightly. What the hell are we talking about here, man? And Tennessee prides themselves. I'm calling my alum and fellow fans out. I stayed to the bitter end. Then we shut the scoreboard off, which I understand. Duke just shook hands and walked off the court, and the band played the alma mater, but I got to the bus, got to the Ag campus, and I'm here. But, man, Tennessee, do better. I don't give a damn if that was a friendly or a middle school game. You stay to the end, man. There were so many empty seats. I took a picture of it, too. And I was like, man, it would have been nice if all you people that made that noise in that first half that had them shook and scared at the beginning would have been there at the end. And I'm like, did anybody forget the Final Four where they shit the bed? They almost did it again tonight. And that was against Houston.
Bro.
And that was a more talented Duke team.
I think what you got, not just with what you dealt with tonight, but I think all sports.
Yeah.
I think fans don't have the patience and they give up too easily.
They do.
I can remember being in different games and venues and over the years growing up, and you would know that a team is done. You would know that they're probably not going to win this game, but you still stayed in the seats because you just wanted to, just in case.
Yes.
And you don't have that anymore.
No.
Like when look, how many times have we seen a team get down 4 touchdowns at the half, and then the fans start exiting, and then all of a sudden the comeback happens, and then you got people outside the stadium
wanting to come
get back in.
Yep.
And security's like, nah, you're out of here. You left.
Yep.
Once you leave, it's no reentry. So.
Listen, I don't want to spend any more time on it. 2 quick points, and you said it best. I'll never forget. I know you're not a Heat fan, but Ray Allen saying, "Get rid of them motherfucking ropes" or whatever like that, and everybody, all them sorry ass Heat fans thought it was over, and they're trying to get back in, and the rest is history. But it was really funny. There was a little boy that was 2 seats down from me with his dad. They were Duke fans or whatever. It's fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is he looks at his dad, 5 years old. And he says, "Daddy, why are they leaving their team? This game ain't over yet." And a 5-year-old said it. And I was, and he's right. And he's a Duke fan. He's like, "This game's not over." He's like, so.
The innocence of a child. The innocence of a child. Not just
the
with
honesty.
Sports, but in life. And the honesty. They
exactly.
Kids know, man. Kids know.
Yeah. Well, Larry, what is good, brother? Because here's the thing, man. I wanted to get back as quickly as I could. I stayed to the end, and I got here as quickly as I could. And credit to Tennessee for giving them a game. And like I said, I mean, those were 2 very talented ball clubs, and I think that you get better playing a game like that. And you can see them in March, and now you kind of know what they're going to be about. Sure, they'll get better. They might have an injury or 2. You might get better. You might have an injury or 2, but at the same time, you saw what they're about, and you might be ready for them when the stakes are bigger in one of them big domes, come in March. But that being said, man, I'm at the game, and what in the hell, Larry Frank? My phone's buzzing and I'm thinking, oh, people are wanting to talk about, hey, look at Tennessee, look how good they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, the money was found, my brother. The money was found. Brian Kelly is no more the coach at LSU.
Let me tell you something. I was in Walmart. I was doing my shopping. Ellen V, what's up, sis? I was doing my shopping.
What is up, Ellen? Thank you, sister. Thank you.
Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, Walmart run. And same thing. My phone starts going off. I'm like, what the hell's going on now? I'm like, what's all this ping, ping, ping? I'm looking, I'm like, Brian Kelly dismissed. Brian Kelly relieved. And I'm like, what? So I made a couple of phone calls, and I got some friends, I got some family that kind of like we have affiliation with Miami. They've got affiliation with LSU. And I called them. I said, hey, my buddy Joe. I said, Joe, because he's big into LSU football. As a matter of fact, Frank Wilson is his cousin. They went to St. Aug. They went to the same high school. So he knows a lot of people in Frank Wilson's family, who is consequently the interim coach now. Mr. Brock, what's up, brother?
What's up, Brock?
So I called Joe, and I said, Joe, what happened? He said from what he found out and what he gathered, Brian Kelly was called in there and they told him he needed to fire Joe Sloan, the offensive coordinator, and make staff changes in an attempt to save his job. He said he wasn't going to do it. They said, okay, no problem. They're fired and you two get the fuck out. Just like that.
And that's how you do it, baby. That's how you do it, man. Way to go, LSU. And I ain't even a Tiger fan. Way to go.
I'll say this. And for him to do it like that, I think Brian Kelly, now it was a genius move on his part, and I'm going to tell you why.
Because the buyout.
Because the buyout, obviously. But here's the kicker. They've got to negotiate the final numbers. The buyout has to be paid by 2031. So he's going to get a monthly payment. They're going to break that $50 million or whatever now.
Kind of like what they did with Franklin. Penn State did. Keep going. So,
yes. Yep. And they're going to give him a monthly payment all the way through to 2031. Now, essentially what they want is they want him. There's no coaching clause with this from what I was told. So he is allowed, and they're actually encouraging him to go get a coaching job because that negates them having to pay whatever, they would owe him. But I'm not mad at Brian Kelly at all. If I'm Brian Kelly, guess what? Hey, he did the right thing because he knew his time was up. And by him sticking by Joe Sloan, all that did was show his loyalty. And that's just going to make him attractive to the next poor sucker program that thinks he can do something for him.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Now,
really, woo.
Early rumblings for coaches, and we got to keep an eye on this because it does affect us as Canes fans. Because you still have Florida, who's in the state looking for a coach. You have LSU in the region in the South, Arkansas. In the regions in the South.
Yep.
Virginia Tech in the ACC, obviously. There's rumblings. They want Lane just like Florida wants Lane. But Lane, and this is going to apply to Florida as well, it's pretty much being assumed that Lane, if Ole Miss charges towards the playoffs as they look like they are, Lane is not leaving Ole Miss until their season is done. So here's the kicker. You're going to have a lot of coaches that are not hired, or should I say a lot of schools rather not hiring coaches until they see how things turn out with Lane at season's end. Let's just say that Ole Miss has a magical run to the national championship. Exactly. And they had that money.
Oh, yeah. And that's Florida State has it too. That's bullshit. Keep going. Yeah.
Don't think for a second if they finish the season the way it looks that Norvell won't also be on the chopping block. So the rumblings that I'm getting and what I've been told and what my buddies and family have told me, there's a lot of interest and possibilities that one guy under the radar that nobody else is looking at in any other school is in play. Jimbo Fisher to LSU.
Yep. I was waiting for it.
Former offensive coordinator. He's still got a lot of relationships down here. It's still in the South.
Can
recruit. And the irony that the school that bought him out, which was the school that got Kelly fired, could be the school that inadvertently gets him hired at LSU is crazy. And what's even more, and to Ellen V's point right here, she said they told us for years Miami didn't have the money, then boom, $80 million was offered. And here's the thing. I'm glad this happened the way it did.
Keep going.
I'm glad it happened the way it did. You know why? Because in consecutive weeks, heck, 3 times in the last 10 days between Franklin, Napier, and now Brian Kelly, schools have had to go ahead in the middle of the season and they have to go into the bag to pay these guys to leave. Big buyouts. But Miami, and this is for the fan base, Miami don't have the money to do it and they're stuck with Mario. If it comes down to that, no, sir. Because guess what? You can now use these other schools as examples. And here's the kicker. Napier was hired in 21. Kelly was hired in 21, the same year that Mario was hired.
Yep. Same as the Virginia Tech coach, too. That's not
Brent
there.
Pry.
Yep.
21.
Yep.
You got
Yep.
3 coaches that were all hired in 21, all
Yes.
fired mid-season. So guess what? To the Miami fans that love to make excuses for Mario, if that collapse happens at season's end, you cannot say they don't have the money or or it's impossible that they can get rid of them because you got 3 schools that did it mid-season.
Hmm. Are you concerned, Larry, with the Cuban brass over at Columbus High that they've been called kind of the Cuban mafia, the Colombia mafia, because he's so buddy with them? But at the same time, if that was so as into it as it is, why didn't you get Mendoza here? Mendoza would have been a way better quarterback, I think. Let me back that up. I think that in the right offense, which he's done with Cincinnati, he's done great. But if he's in this, pedestrian offense, I don't think any quarterback can shine. I think
No.
Cam was just a miracle. You know what I mean, and so forth. I mean, with
Yeah.
what he had to work with. So
Cam,
yeah.
Cam, as we say all the time, Cam masked Shannon Dawson's ineptness as an offensive coordinator.
Hmm.
Everything you're seeing right now with Shannon Dawson in this offense, we saw 2 years ago when he ran the offense with TVD. There was a lot of stuff in the offense was simplified and very vanilla down, if I may say, because he just the quarterback play was just not what you needed. Listen, I've said it millions of times and I'm gonna say it again. The game has changed. You need a dual threat quarterback. You need a quarterback with some wheels that can throw.
And
And if you
balls
don't get that,
like Pavia, balls like
yes,
somebody with swag. I don't need a mental
yes,
case. I need
right,
swag.
yeah, yeah, facts,
I
facts.
mean, Dorsey looked like a little skinny nerd, man, but he was talking shit like the best of them when he was our quarterback, honestly. So,
That's your leader,
you know,
man. That's the
yeah,
face
that's
of
the
your
leader.
team, and guess what? Your team is going to ride for you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, Brandon, listen. You ask Mendoza right now. Look. He's got it made, man. He's in the playoffs. Even if they damn lose to Ohio State, on in the championship, they're going to get in there or whatever. Miami's got to hope to God that they can't mess up. But the truth is, like me and Larry Frank said this morning on the Utah recap show, it's done at what 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Central Time on Saturday, pretty much. I mean,
yeah.
if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I ain't expecting nothing. And I love the fact that the ESPN and ACC said, "Oh, we're going to set up that thing at noon right away, so Miami loses to SMU on the
Yeah,
road." I
yeah,
mean, of
yeah.
course they did.
You
I
know
mean,
what they're
we're in
doing.
this real quick. I mean, yeah, no, November, for November starts on the 1st, and it's
Starts on the
unbelievable. The day
first.
after Halloween, man. So, yep. So enjoy your trick or treating Friday because Saturday the candy canes will show up. Honestly, so just
And you
like
know what?
material
You know what?
conditions.
You
Yep.
know what? You know what I hate about that, man. You
What's
really
that,
got a
bud?
lot of talent on this Miami team that if
You
they were
do.
utilized right, if the personnel was utilized right, if the coaching was done better, this Miami team is 6-1 off of talent alone.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They've not out schemed anybody. That's a fact.
They haven't.
So,
They
mm-mm,
haven't.
mm-mm.
Yeah.
The youth program with this group. I mean, and it's like what I said this morning. Look, I don't hate Carson Beck, okay? And if this kid is hurt or what have you, whatever, and so forth. But you overpaid for this cat. And if you're just going to have him hand the ball off, then just take your lumps with damn Emery and Nickel. I even heard a comment from somebody said that Emery looked more comfortable running the offense,
I saw
handing the
that.
ball off,
I
and
saw
they
that.
were right. They were right. I mean, and here's the
Yeah.
thing. I think it's unfair to base Emery of what he did in that Iowa State game. He came in at halftime cold. He really hadn't had much reps during the season.
Right.
And truth be told, he was coming off of a major arm break, guys, that everybody
Hmm.
forgets. His bone popped out. It was the nastiest thing I saw getting that yard for us. And he was put in an impossible situation. But he won us that Clemson game. And his teammates like him. His teammates, that recruiting class has been very tight, and he was
Yeah.
part of that recruiting class. And
Right.
so, again, I'm not saying that, Emery was the answer, but I'm just saying that if this is what you've relegated the 4.56 million for, you could have gotten a badass coordinator and shown Dawson the fucking door, told him to go take a shitty job at Division II where he belongs, honestly.
I'll say
So,
this. This is a fear that I have with Malachi Tony, right?
mm-hmm.
Malachi Tony, as we all know, is the Miami offense.
Yep.
Malachi Tony is basically getting himself in the position where people are going to come after him. Now, here's my thing as it pertains to the Miami quarterbacks. If you don't have a quarterback that looks like it's going to replicate what Malachi Tony has been able to do this year, who's to say Joshua Horton, I'm sorry, Isaiah Horton, I'm sorry, was our number one receiver. He left.
Yep.
He would have been a starter.
Yep.
So who's to say that with NIL and transfer portal, that money and the opportunity to play for a championship or better opportunity or greener pastures, they come calling.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about that is, if it happens, if I'm Malachi Tony, this is a business decision.
Mm-hmm.
You are the best freshman in America.
Yes. Yes.
And honestly, one of the best players in America, as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
So given that, you literally can write your own checkbook.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, I would not be surprised if somebody doesn't come, with an open bag or with a handful of bags rather than an open checkbook and say, hey, Malachi, we saw what you're doing over there. And then they can go ahead on and sell it to them like, look, Malachi, you don't know what you got with these quarterbacks. If you roll with Emory or Luke Nickel or whatever, that's a new quarterback. Even though Emory's been here a couple of years, he doesn't have the reps. He's still going to be a new quarterback, taking over, and you got big shoes to fill for the last two that held the position. So it's almost like Mario would have to go and get another quarterback out the portal just to satisfy the offense and the players on offense that are going to leave, because you have the possibility that they can come get Malachi. You're more than likely losing Ray Joseph. You're more than likely losing JoJo Trader. You're more than likely losing Nye Carr because he was out of here and you had to go and save him to get him to come back, and he came back and he's not doing nothing. You're more than likely losing Jordan Lyle. There's turnover every year. You saw with A.J. Allen, who got reps last year.
Yep.
A.J. Allen got out of here.
Yep.
Horton left.
Yep.
Nothing's guaranteed anymore.
Nope. And Martinez could have come back, and he's on a practice squad in the NFL. He could have gotten paid big time, and he was really coming on at the end of the year, finally.
Yes, and imagine if Martinez would have came back, if you would have had Martinez, Fletcher, you got Pringle, the young back or whatever, you got Jordan Lyle. If Martinez comes back, does Marty Brown come down?
Probably not.
Probably not. So, but imagine a Martinez Fletcher combo sprinkling in a little Jordan Lyle and Pringle.
Yep.
Yep. So,
and I'll tell you this, Devin had a point. Wheatley Humphrey ain't trash either, man. This guy played both sides of the ball, and we're wasting him. Yes. I mean, it's like we kind of wasted Robbie Washington, and they tried to make that move to DB, and it's like, you got to get these cats on the field, man, And again, here's the thing. If they weren't good enough to come here, then that means you're sucking at evaluations, man. You really are.
Right.
And I have pointed this out because realistically, yes, the recruiting classes on paper have looked good, but we've had that for years where look at the recruiting class 3 years from now, and these guys aren't even here no more.
Exactly.
Or, they didn't pan out. And I'm going to tell you this morning, and I love AO. By the way, and he liked what I brought up. I said, where's this depth at offensive line? Where is this depth? I mean, we've not seen Pancake Honcho. We've not seen Tommy Kinsler, who was supposed to be for sure.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you realistically who the linemen were in that following recruiting class, to be honest with you. I can't. Yeah. Are they even on the roster? My point, Larry, is that this is the stuff that I brought up at the beginning of the year that I got chastised for. We're not blowing anybody off the ball. You don't pull guards anymore. And yet,
no, you don't.
The specialty that your coach supposedly had was offensive line, and he's not even doing that right. And he's not. Don't defend him. Do not defend him. Not you, but anybody that thinks he should be given more time.
No, hell no.
I thought this offensive line was supposed to be so fantastic, and it's not. It's absolutely not.
Listen,
So I rest my case. I
as a
rest my
guy,
case.
that played offensive line in high school, and no, I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm an offensive line guru, but having played the position, there are certain aspects of being an offensive lineman that you know when you watch the game. For starters,
Yes.
the pulling guard or the lack thereof of pulling guards and this dual scheme of combination blocks, all that is simply masking the fact that your guards are probably just not that good, that they're not fast enough to be able to pull and spring anything to the outside. It's no
Hmm.
secret, and there's no reason by design that you're not seeing a lot. If you're not running to the outside with the speedy guys that we got that can break it outside and go to that C gap, that tells me one of two things. You either have a running back that you don't think can do it, and we know that ain't the case with Jordan Lyle because we saw him do it last year against USF. Hell, that's how he introduced himself to the Miami fan base.
Hmm.
But it's either going to be you don't feel like you got the backs that can do it, or you don't have the offensive linemen that can help to make it happen. And honestly, I think that's what it is. It's the second. The offensive linemen are being falsely advertised. All you hear about is the average size of the offensive lineman, the biggest in the ACC, the comparisons and the comparableness or whatever. I think I just made up a word to SEC offensive linemen. This is all you're seeing. It's being masked. It's nothing. It's no different than what Cam Ward did for the quarterback position in the offense last year. It's being masked, you know. And I'm
Hmm.
sorry,
Look at this
I'm not buying
comment.
it.
Larry, sorry to cut you off, but look at
No,
this
you
comment
good.
right here. I've been saying this all along. I know Miami is more physical than been in recent past. Sure, they had nowhere else to go but up, but it's
Hmm.
still not physical enough yet. Preach. And then in capital letters, and I hope you could repeat it and put it in quotes and underline it and bold it. It
Right.
looks too soft. And the
Yes.
defense, too. You damn right, man. You damn right.
Mr. Brock.
Damn right.
They're gonna be up there by Mr. Brock.
Bringing
Mr.
it.
Brock is up there in that Dallas area, up there in Fort Worth. So he'll be able to go see him. You know, Mr. Brock, if you get a chance to go over there and they mess up, man, listen, I got your bail money, man. Get on the field, slap the piss out of Mario, man. We'll get you out of jail.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey,
We'll fly the plane and get the GoFundMe going.
and then if he uses that damn jujitsu on you, black belt, whatever, and so forth, the money that would deservedly go to you more so than it did him because he didn't earn shit. So
There it
that's a
is.
fact. So I
Yeah.
mean, and then let's just talk about this real quick. The other thing is this: teams that continue to disappoint.
Yeah.
You are tied 7-7 with one of the worst teams, not only in the ACC, but in all of the 135 Division 1A teams of whatever it is in the FBS, honestly,
Hmm.
now. I mean, and then they were out. It was like the MASH squad you were taking on, Larry. Did you see the ACC report of when they like literally they had half the team that was injured or probable or definitely out. Miami
Yeah.
had maybe 5 guys on theirs. And they come out, hold you to a field goal. You don't even make field goal, and
Right.
they go down the field on you and make it look easy and
And
score a
and
touchdown and throw the
that
U down.
the problem that I have with that is, and we had somebody, I don't even know who it was, that was on the recap show in the comment section on YouTube after. Another one of them fans.
Uh-huh.
You know, they said you guys are bitching and
Oh yeah.
complaining, but you know, we're 6-1 and we're ranked number 9 in the country, number 10 or whatever in the country. Like, and they cited it, you know, we were 10 wins last year. We said moving toward he said 7-1, but really he meant to say 6-1. And I told him, I said, dude, with all due respect, do you even watch the oculars and the schematics of what's going on? I don't need somebody from the tailgate mafia getting on my ass because I'm being critical about what I see. It's just like what AO said today. AO said it perfectly. You cannot be critical about what you see without ruffling feathers of some sort with these fans. And to AO's credit, to Devin's credit, to
Hmm.
your credit, we've all said it. When you're making this kind of money, you have the right to demand better results than what we're getting. I'm not saying you have to be perfect. We're not demanding perfection because nobody's perfect. But for
Hmm.
$4 million, $4.5 million as a quarterback, you need to be making some better throws. Now, I'll give Carson Beck credit. Like I said this morning, the touchdown throw that he made to CJ Daniels, that was a
That was a great
beautiful
throw.
pass. It was on point. Timing was beautiful. The defender's back was turned. He didn't even know it was coming to him. It was a great throw and an even better catch by CJ, who's been making miracle catches all season long. I'll give him that.
Yep.
But in the case of Mario, who is getting in excess of 9 to 10 million a year annually with this big inflated contract, you should be competing for ACC championships, and you
Yes.
definitely should be in the playoffs and competing for
Y-
playoff spots. You're getting
yes.
all of this money just to acknowledge that you knew for South Florida last year that your defense wasn't good, but you didn't want to make any changes because you didn't want to change, the schematics. You didn't want to change the rotation or whatever. So you let this team from the third or fourth game last year go the entire season with a bad defense and say nothing. What kind of a coach does that?
Not a good coach. A stubborn coach. A coach that has not gotten better in 17 years.
Yes.
Wherever he was at. This is not FIU. And Oregon, they're on my list tonight to talk about as well.
Hmm.
I don't give a damn that Dante Moore got hurt. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Wisconsin is trash,
Terrible.
and they didn't even drop them. They dropped Miami, which was deserved, but they should have dropped Oregon just as much,
Absolutely.
honestly. Like, because to
21-7.
win only 21-7,
Yeah.
and this Wisconsin team could have gotten beat 70-0, but Ohio State felt sorry for one of their former alum. You know what I mean? Luke Fickell. Iowa beat the brakes off of this team, and Iowa doesn't beat the brakes off of anybody 37-0.
Well,
I
well
mean, are you kidding me?
how
And
about
all
how
you
about
could muster was 21-7.
how about Alabama? You had to have a miracle come from behind victory, and you're still number 4 in the country with
Uh-huh.
unranked South Carolina. Dude, the freaking bias for the SEC and the Big Ten is at an all-time high. But the one thing I will say is this: what I do like, the ACC is trying because you got Georgia Tech and Miami in the top 10, you got Virginia, and you got
Mm-hmm.
Louisville in the top 25. You've got 4
Yep.
ACC teams that's in that mix. Had SMU
Yep.
won yesterday, you would have had a fifth. So at the end of
Yep.
the day, when it's all said and done, the ACC is doing their best, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because the NCAA has this love affair with the SEC and the Big Ten. They want to have these two big super conferences and try to mirror the NFL because that's what everybody's saying. That's what it's going to anyway. I don't know, but the preferential treatment to these Big Ten and these SEC schools are just insane right now.
Yeah, and Larry, here's the thing, and you just brought up a great point, my brother. Honestly, think about this. What have I been preaching on your show, on my other shows, that the referees have been absolutely atrocious. And
Hmm.
here's the thing of it. They understand the brand.
Yes,
South Carolina needed 30 points with 3 minutes to go to win that game.
that's
There
right.
was no way they were going to let Bama walk the fuck out of there with the loss. Not the
Correct.
second one. No way.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Right.
It's bad enough they lost to Florida State, but they were not going to lose another road game. And let me tell you this, if you're an Alabama fan, you still have questions about Kalen DeBoer, everybody.
Absolutely.
That's
The
a
the
trash team.
the
Vanderbilt
fa-
went in that place and beat the hell out of them.
the Alabama fan base, the Alabama team is to me is nothing but Tuscaloosa, Miami, because
Yes.
it's literally the same thing. It's the same thing with a team that's just had more success recently than what Miami has had. Because
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, and yes, you've had a coaching change from Saban to DeBoer. DeBoer is in year number 2. But
Yep.
in the grand scheme of things, this Alabama team last year lost some big games that they shouldn't have lost, a la Miami. They lost
Mm-hmm.
a game they shouldn't have lost this year, a la Miami. The
Yep.
only difference is the timing of when they lost. And now they're running the table. They're barely skating by. They're barely
Yep.
winning these games, a la Miami. They're not playing complete games, a la Miami. And down the line, come playoff time, they are going to get exposed, a la Miami.
Yes. And here's the other thing. They've had refs bail their ass out for their ineptness. I mean,
Yes.
the video of the Tennessee game last week should have actually been given of all the calls that went against the Vols, honestly, to help Alabama, you know? Now, it was self-inflicted, the turnovers by Tennessee, but at the
Hmm.
same time, there was no way in hell that, you know, they were going to let Bama lose to Tennessee again. And they were
Right.
definitely not going to let them lose to South Carolina. Now, look at Bama's schedule the rest of the year. Okay, they've got at LSU is now. I mean, who's the interim coach? Is it going to be Blake Baker? Ironically, probably, or
No,
what? I
it's
mean,
it's 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 Frank Wilson, but I'm gonna say this. Frank Wilson, I know Frank. Frank I went to Nichols, and Frank was at Nichols with me. Um, we had a couple of classes together. Frank was actually on Ed Orgeron's staff. He actually did
Mm,
some work for Les Miles. So Frank is well connected. Frank knows football. But here's the thing. All they got to do is
yeah.
get that offense going. Blake Baker has that defense. Now, the thing about it, last night, LSU just kept giving the ball back and the defense got tired. But I do
Yeah.
believe Alabama's offense is not that good. They've just been getting lucky. They've been getting some lucky breaks. They've been getting the
Hmm.
benefits of the refs. I'm not going to predict it that it happens, but I would not be surprised. You got 2 weeks now. You got 2 weeks before they play. I
Hmm.
would not be surprised,
Yeah.
especially if they go with that other quarterback, the backup quarterback, because I noticed when he got in the game last night, that offense looked a little bit better. Sloan
Hmm.
is gone.
Yep.
So they've got
Yep.
2 weeks to prepare an offensive game plan. Blake Baker's defense is going to be, and look, he's grown. From what when we
Hmm.
had him, he has grown. He knows how to break down a defense.
Yep.
Um, his problem has been his defense is broken down because they're tired because of all the
Yeah.
3 and outs and the turnovers that the offense did. But
Yep.
I'll be honest with you, what a shocker it would be because I think LSU, even with Brian Kelly and Joe Sloan being fired, I really believe LSU has a better team and more on their team and more of a threat on their team, more threats rather on their team than South Carolina. All
Yeah.
they need,
I, I,
all
th-
they
I think
need
you're
is the
right.
offense. It's possible. Anything can
You're
happen.
right.
And then with Brian Kelly gone, there's going to be rejuvenation. Because those players had had enough of Brian Kelly, and especially after what he did with my cousin and all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really believe they checked out. I think they checked out. He's gone. There's rejuvenation in that program.
And they may play hard for Frank. They might.
I think they
They
will.
unlike where they, yeah. They may. I mean, where maybe they were just like the hell with this guy, dancing up on us and everything like that. I mean, and here's the other thing too. And I'm going to bring this up, and you
Hmm.
might have a point there, Larry, because this Alabama team, they're beatable. They are
Yeah,
beatable. I
yeah.
don't think that they're anything special. The truth of the matter is that I'm sure Vanderbilt would love to have that game back. You brought up something about the backup quarterback at LSU. There was another backup quarterback yesterday that saved another team's balls with the benefit of the referee calls, and that was Texas. Texas should be dead right now. And I'm thinking to that Freddy versus Jason movie, Why Won't You Die? Or whatever at this point. Honestly, Kentucky should have beaten them in overtime. Mississippi State had them by the cojones. And
Hmm.
knocking out Arch was the worst thing Mississippi State could have done because that other quarterback went in there and it looked like the offense knew what they were doing. And he
Yeah.
actually had a great throw when they were leading the comeback against the Gators 4 weeks ago.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And
I mean, yeah.
if and here's my thing for Miami, if you have to go out and get another quarterback, but then again, Mario doesn't know how to evaluate stuff. But honestly, evaluate some of these backups.
Yeah.
You got just enough film to see what they're doing. And if they
Hmm.
got eligibility, go out and maybe look at you don't have to overpay. Like, okay, on opposite ends of the spectrum, you're underpaid for Cam and it worked out. You're overpaid for Beck and it's not working out.
Yep.
Cam got $1 million and Cam turned the trajectory of your program around. Cam put Miami back into a contention spot annually for what he did. And I am forever
Yep.
grateful to Cam Ward for coming to Miami and doing that for that 1 year. And then what
He
does it
brought
do?
he brought the most excitement in 25 years. In 25 years.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Heisman finalist, number one overall
Yes.
pick, you know. But then what does it do? It catapults this team to be able to make a play to get Carson Beck. Now, yes, Carson Beck had that bad game last week. Carson Beck, I saw this thing on another podcast, and this was so beautiful. I can't remember who said it, but I remember what they were saying.
Mm.
Carson Beck needs to become Alex Smith. Because
Oh,
if
yeah.
Carson Beck plays like Alex Smith, where you're not asking him to win the game and put it all on his back, Miami will be successful. If you
Yes.
want Carson Beck to be Patrick Mahomes, you're going to lose. Plain and simple.
Yep.
And
Yep. You're right.
That's what happened last week. He channeled his inner Patrick Mahomes and it didn't work. Yesterday, he channeled his inner Alex Smith. And he still had a ball that could have got picked off and he had a few bad throws, but for the most part, he made better throws. Now, if we move on and we get another portal quarterback, it has to be a dual threat because what I'm seeing is you can't tell me that Carson Beck wants to run by design. He's not a runner by design.
No.
And 2 weeks in a row, he saw that that run last night. I think he ran for like 9 yards and he fell short of the first down. That's the second week in a row I'm seeing Carson Beck tuck it and try to run. That tells me that is part of the game plan. Dawson is telling him, if you don't have it, tuck it and run. So you need to get a quarterback that has the
Can be
wheels.
RPO. That can be RPO. I mean,
RPO
honestly.
that shit.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know what we're dealing with. I mean, and then like I said on the show this morning, the comments of that Roddy Jones made, he said, "Oh well, this Tony Johnson, he's great. I just because there's Malachi Tony. It's like you need to have both Tonys on the field, then asshole. I mean, what are you talking about? How do you? I mean, we don't know how to use personnel correctly. We don't know how to play call correctly. You used a bubble screen to pick up a third down, Larry Frank,
Yes.
and then you go back to being stubborn and can't get a yard. These are the same damn problems we had that we bitched and moaned as fans about under Golden and under Manny and under Rick even. That we struggle to get 1 yard, and these other teams make it look so damn easy. So again, you bring in this guy who's the offensive line guy and his little guru, and we still have trouble picking up a damn first down. Here's the other part of it that just gets me, if you think about this. You mentioned Brockmeyer, who, again, the guy this morning on Facebook, I didn't even answer him, but I had a bunch of people.
I saw that.
Did you see that? I mean, a Remington Award semifinalist. That's like being invited to a dance where you might get a dance with the hottest girl on the stage or whatever, but you've got 11 other guys before she chooses you. Honestly, you might. Honestly. I mean, this is what we've become as fans. The uniform bullshit, the Adidas money, the money's there. And
Yeah.
Adidas, my God. And the uniforms were cool, whatever. Thank you for to give a tribute to the service. But it's so gimmicky, man. And then the weather. It's raining cats and dogs. And this offense actually looks like it's good in the rain instead of perfect weather, which makes no sense when you have speedsters and guys that you just need to unleash. And we've got these guys like in a cock cage. I hate to say it, man. We really do, man. It's unbelievable. And we're paying too much money here and we're getting the same results. And we should easily still be the number 2 or number 3 team in the country, undefeated with a competent staff. And teams should be shaking in their boots to about to be playing us.
Yes.
I mean piss should be running down their leg, man. Honestly.
You don't lose that game last week. We are definitely number 2. And I know Indiana, well, maybe we fall in number 3 because Indiana had a very, very impressive victory yesterday. They're beating the hell out of people by 50 points.
They're taking care of business, man. And that Cignati, man, he's a savage. He
Indiana
will rip your balls off and give them to you on a plate, man.
Indiana is doing what Miami should be doing. Can you imagine if Miami adopted that approach to football that Indiana has?
My God.
And credit Ellen V. She said, "Don't piss me off with those ugly ass uniforms." Yes. I don't know. Somebody in the uniform department must have been a No Limit fan with them damn camouflage No Limit soldier inspired uniforms.
Well, and I'm going to tell you this though, guys. I'm going to tell you this. There is problems on this team. Because it wasn't all for one for all. Because old Dawson had that green thing that he wears or whatever that looks like something off of Happy Days with the Miami on it and so forth. And he didn't partake in the camo. And there were a couple other coaches that didn't wear it, but a few others were all for one with that camo shit. And then here's the other thing too that bothered me, Larry Frank.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, and look. I am proud of my Spanish heritage, just as I'm proud of my Italian and all my other and so forth like that. But
Mhm.
here's the problem that I have. They had Mario do something in Spanish, and
I saw
great,
that shit.
and it's like, what is this? What does that matter? Well, who cares?
Playing to the crowd.
Honestly, playing to the crowd. And it's like Manny didn't know a lick of Spanish. He was a Cuban American, but he didn't know a lick of Spanish, apparently. And yeah, that's facts. Manny Diaz maybe
Mm,
could say a couple things. And when they interviewed Mario, and Mario took the job, he did do
I
a
remember that.
interview in Spanish, which was cool to give the Telemundo and because I mean, look, think about this, man. The people down in Miami, I'm sure that they've learned to like football, but from their countries, they like soccer and baseball and boxing and basketball. But they don't know anything about football Americano. They don't, but they see, and they want to try to get involved and try to be a part of it. But at the same time, I don't give a damn if he knows 6 languages. Do you know X's and O's? Because that's what we're paying you for,
He don't
sir.
know that language.
He sure damn doesn't.
You
You
know,
know?
him and his little assistant Tattoo from Fantasy Island. That's what I call him because I look at
Oh,
Mirrorball
it
and all I
really is. The
every time
plane, the
the
plane,
plane boss,
yeah,
the
the
plane boss. That's
plane,
all I
yeah.
see is when I see Mirrorball.
Chris Kane, what
Chris
is up,
Kane.
man? Hey, bring the heat, man. Bring the heat tonight, man. We were just talking about how in the world do you only be 7-7 at halftime? And I'm going to tell you this. Let's just not even ignore this. You're 4th and 1. You can't even pick that shit up.
Yeah.
They're driving down the field. Thank God Basaint picks that shit off, because if he doesn't and they get a first down there and they go down there and tie it, we're looking at 14-14 like what the Knolls were last week in the fourth quarter. The only difference, we're at home, they were on the road in Palo Alto. That changed. That interception changed things, Larry. Maybe I'm wrong
But
with
wait,
that,
wait,
but
wait, wait.
oh my
I
God.
have to push back, and I'm not taking nothing away from Wes, but credit Ruben Bain for the pressure that forced the throw that went to
Yes.
Wes
Yes.
because Ruben Bain has this just uncanny ability to get down so low off of the rush when he's coming off of the rush.
Hmm.
That's why he's always getting held because he's so low. The offensive lineman is so tall, he can't get down low. So that's why he's kind of swimming with his arm and holding him. And Bain is either going to beat the block and get on the edge and get to you, get off the edge and get to the quarterback, or he's going to get held.
Yep.
Now the bad part is the refs aren't calling all those holds,
Yep.
but he's able to impact the play so much. And that's why I give credit to Jeff Brown last week for designing the play to where the quarterback got the ball was gone before Ruben Bain could get to him. People were having
Hmm.
a shit fit talking about why is Bain and Mesidor not getting to the quarterback? Because they ain't got no fucking time.
They don't. They don't. And let me tell you something. Ellen, he is a weak center. I
Yes,
think that he is worse than Zach Carpenter or the guy that we had from Central Florida whose name
Matt Lee.
escapes me, Matt
Matt
Lee.
Lee.
I'm going to tell you this. This guy is pathetic. And he was in Berlin, or Berlin. I mean, God love Brock Berlin. He was in Carson Beck's damn lap, like Devin said beautifully this morning. He really was.
Mm-hmm.
And what pisses me off even more is we got fans talking about he's a semifinalist on the Remington Award. That ain't no Brett Romberg or anybody, Casey Jones or the studs we've had back in the day. And then here's the best part. You know where he was before TCU? He actually went to Alabama, but he was so fucking bad there. He went to TCU, and they used the Saban excuse, but he was actually one of the ones that was already excused because he wasn't up to their standards. And then he was so-so at TCU, and TCU's coach didn't care to keep him.
Gary
They would
Barris.
not have let a guy like that go if he was that studly, because you need an offensive line for their pass-happy offense. He's a bum.
And that
And
should tell
here's
you
the other thing.
something.
Yes. And where's Rodriguez? Rodriguez was getting burned. I mean, here's the thing. I know he had a serious leg break against Florida. And if he's not ready, he's not ready. But then redshirt him then and have
Yeah,
him for your center for next year, for
that's
God's
right.
sakes. But you're having to go into the damn transfer portal, like AO said, because the guy you thought was going to be your center, Antonio Tripp, was a bad evaluation as well. He was shit at IMG. He was pushing people around at Maryland. His ranking was too high. I don't even know whatever happened to Antonio Tripp, but he
I have
wasn't on
no
the
idea.
roster this year. He was one of the ones that left right after the Syracuse loss last year, guys. And there is another offensive lineman that was supposed to be a dude that should be contributing by now, part of that vaunted offensive line class by the Plane and Fantasy Island there. So
There's going
yeah,
to be a lot of exposure with this team next year because Maui Noah's going into the NFL. I think
yep,
Cooper is a senior, so he
he
should
is a
be out of
senior.
here. I
Yep,
think Markel Bell may be coming back. I think he's coming back, so he'll be back.
yep,
Yeah, Total Crap University.
it is.
Um, Brockenmeyer will be gone, so you're going to have another center. So you're going to have pretty much a brand new offensive line. But here's my question to you and to the rest of the chat: what is like, and you can ask this question for on the other side of the ball with Ruben Bain as well. What is life going to be like in the trenches without Ruben Bain because he's going to the NFL and Maui Noah because he's going to the NFL? What is
Yep,
life going to be like? Because the reason why I asked that, Stallion, the lack of depth and the lack of development that they have, which is getting forgotten about at the excuse of selling that we have this great offensive line. We have one of the best offensive lines in all of America. You know that bullshit they love to tell, that
yep.
lie. What happens when you have a brand new offensive line? And I'm sorry, Pancake and Kinsler and all these other guys are getting in and they ain't showing you nothing. Hell, they can't even get the damn snap count right.
They can.
So
They
what
can.
happens when you get all these new guys up in here next season and they don't hold their own?
You're right. You're
It get
absolutely right.
the exposure is there, bro. It's
Yep.
there.
Well, and I'm going to go even a step further. I'll go a step further. Messidor, he can't stay healthy. He's hurt again, and he's not
Right.
on the field, and it's not his fault. And how effective would he be if he was healthy? With Bain. But the fact is you got a Booker Pickett sitting there.
Yep.
You got Lightfoot, who is a 5-star.
Justin
Maybe there
Scott.
might be a little undersized, but hasn't that been Miami's MO even back in the days when Alonso and all them played, that we
Yeah.
had undersized guys, but it was the speed that was the difference, man, and the swim tackles and the way that you stay low. And when
Yeah.
you've got two good defensive linemen like Damone Lewis and Jason Taylor, man, that was cool seeing Jason Taylor work with Ruben, man. And then I'm looking at Ruben's arms and I'm like, damn, that boy is just a
That's
beast,
a
man.
man
Look at them.
amongst that's a man
I
amongst
mean,
boy.
man, man,
That Ruben
that,
is a generational defensive talent. Like
yeah,
Ruben gives me like, and I'm not comparing him because obviously it has to play out, but I'm looking at Ruben. Ruben is to me is like a modern day version of Reggie White for Miami. What Reggie White was for the
yes,
Packers and the Eagles is what Ruben is for Miami.
yes. Yes, yes. And let me tell you this. I think everybody who worked at On3, Rivals, any of that shit you subscribe and watch to see the rankings and whatever that crap is, they owe him an apology because everybody was talking about Jaden Wayne, who couldn't even last here a year
Hmm.
or whatever before his ass was out the door, and he's out west again, and another IMG people. The IMG thing I think is so overplayed, honestly. I don't really care if we get guys from IMG, honestly. That's just somebody that is like a traveling special team, and I have not seen shit really come from there that's really done anything in the college level
No,
or in the pros, at least in the last 5 or 6 years. If I'm
facts.
wrong, give me some names. But I'm just saying, but the ones that come to Miami, they suck, man. Like they don't do shit here and they're promptly somewhere else, And I say all that is that how the hell did anybody think that Jaden Wayne was better than damn Ruben Bain, man? Because of his measurables? Man, give me a guy that works hard and the heart that Ruben Bain has, because Bain is 5 times the player fucking Jaden Wayne was.
The thing about IMG is, I think the proof is in the pudding. You can go Miami Central, you can go Miami Northwestern, you can go Chaminade Madonna, you can go St. Thomas Aquinas, you know, and I don't know all of the schools down there. I'm just going off of what I know. But locally, when it comes to that, you can find your dogs out of those schools. What does he say? I'm going to go back to the SEC special treatment. Georgia should also be dead right now, but they still got so much confidence in them. Tennessee, Auburn, Ole Miss all had them, and the refs helped Georgia out.
Damn right.
Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
you know what I hope happens, and I think it will. Georgia Tech's going to beat Georgia this year.
Oh,
They
they
should have
will.
beat them last year.
Should have beat them last year. Yeah.
And it's
Well,
not going to be any shame if they do, because Georgia Tech has 3 ACC games left from going perfect.
mm-hmm,
And that is going to be ratings, because you're
mm-hmm,
coming off of what happened last year, and you have Georgia versus Georgia Tech. That is just is very intriguing.
mm-hmm.
It's almost, I think, setting up to be what Miami, Florida State used to be, but now could it be this is your new ACC, SEC annual rivalry game from 2 conferences, especially if Georgia Tech ascends to become a I don't want to say a college powerhouse, but at least an ACC power, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yep.
Dabo's on the clock. I'm seeing that Dabo's possibly getting fired at the end of the season.
Yep.
So Clemson is done.
Well, and can I tell you this, Larry? If we're talking markets, okay, because
Mhm.
if we want to talk a market, Georgia Tech's got that Atlanta market,
They got
baby.
Atlanta.
Atlanta. It's a new LA, man. It really
Yeah,
is. Movies are filmed there, TV shows are filmed there. They don't have the taxes that California used to, and you can still keep it in the States without paying Canada shit,
that's
because
right.
people had moved to Canada, the productions and things to make it look, certain ways or whatever.
Right.
But and Georgia, that weather's nice all year long, pretty much. You don't have snow and stuff that could delay productions of things. But
Right.
my point is that market is hot. And it's a market, unfortunately, right now that has struggled with NBA for a while. The baseball team is good once every couple of years.
Yep.
The Falcons haven't been shit since that Super Bowl collapse, unfortunately. They've had some
Right.
nice players. And then they really, their hockey team has never taken off. You know what I mean? But I'm just getting at that they're starving for something in Atlanta. And why not Georgia Tech? Honestly. I mean, and they've had something a little bit. They're trying to do something in basketball too with Stoudemire, and everything as well with that brand. So
So
yeah,
so what I want to do right quick while we on, I want to go over these schedules to show you
please,
how
please,
this is going to happen. So I got Georgia Tech schedule pulled up right here.
yep,
All right. So next week they got NC State. They should
win,
win that game.
yep,
The 15th, they got a bye after that. The 15th, Boston College. They go to Boston College. They're going to
win,
win that game. The ACC finale for them will be hosting Pitt. Now, that could be a tricky game.
yes,
That could be a tricky game. So let's just say that Pitt does the unthinkable and beat them. That's one
mm-hmm,
loss. Okay, so
mm-hmm,
keep that in mind. All right.
yep.
So let's say they finish 7-1. Of course, they got Georgia. That's a non-conference game. Now, I am going to go to Virginia's schedule. Okay.
God, and they should have lost the last 2 weeks, but go ahead.
That game yesterday could have helped Miami so much.
Mm-hmm.
But to finish out their season, they've got Cal next week, which is a win. Now they got to go to Cal, so you never know. You never
Yeah,
know. Cal, I think Miami's path to the ACC. I think now, obviously, we got to take care of our business,
sure.
but I think they actually have some games that they may drop, because that Cal game, Cal looked kind of decent yesterday. Cal looks
Cal's
like
not Stanford. They can play. Cal
they
can
can play.
play, and they're well coached. That's
Yeah.
the thing. So yeah.
So they got to travel next week to Cal. So you never know. So we'll keep hope alive for
Sure.
that. Wake Forest, who just beat SMU yesterday, they
Mm-hmm.
come to Virginia the week after.
Yep.
Then Virginia has to go to Manny and Duke, and then the season finale against Virginia Tech. They've got 3 games. They're going to beat Virginia Tech because that game's at Virginia. But
Mm-hmm.
these next 3 games, it's very possible they can lose too. So we really
Absolutely.
need to be rooting for all of their opponents over the next 3 weeks.
Yep. Yep.
And then
And
finally,
yeah,
yeah,
and
go ahead.
Belichick. Thanks again. I mean, he does nothing for Miami, man. That guy. I
Right.
mean, what did Gold Digger flash him or something? And he was like, "Oh, let me go for 2 or whatever, like that." I mean, what the hell was going on there, man? I mean, you live to keep fighting for the next overtime. You're the home team, not the away team.
Right.
Dumbass.
Right.
Fucking dumbass.
So
Keep
the
going.
thing about it is they have the victory over Louisville. They have the victory over Stanford, because let's just say they finish 7-1 in conference. Let's say Georgia Tech finishes 7-1 in conference. Let's say Miami runs the table and finish 7-1 in conference. You got to look at common opponent.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, the common opponents that I'm looking at that they've played. Now they did lose to NC State. So that'll be huge for Miami to beat NC State when we play them. So
Can I
if
ask you
Miami,
something real quick, Larry?
yeah,
That
yeah,
wasn't a conference game, but would they just look at it even though it's not a conference game? It's just like it was who was on your schedule. Would they look at it like that?
the common opponent,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, because when it comes down to the tiebreakers, if
Okay.
it's not head to head, like if it's us and Louisville
It's
both
who was on your
finishing
schedule because remember these two teams couldn't find another opponent, so it wasn't
right,
a conference game. It was just hey, you only are an hour drive up the road or whatever like
yeah,
that. Let's play this game. Go
yeah,
ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just was curious because I'm like, okay, so yeah, Miami better take care of business against NC State. But go ahead.
they're
So
gonna have
I'm
to. They're
with you.
gonna have to. So
Yeah.
you got the game against NC State. That was September the 6th that NC State beat them. So if Miami beats NC State, that common opponent falls into their favor. Now they got a victory against Stanford. Miami took care of Stanford last night. They beat Florida State. Of course, we did that as well. They beat Louisville, who beat us.
Mm.
So it's going to come down to Miami having to win all of their games, including NC State.
And I guess
Um,
Virginia Tech, we'd have to beat Virginia
we have to
Tech
beat them as
because
well.
you assume
Yeah,
that they would beat them, and then
yeah,
there's that. So
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So that's where that goes. If I go back to Georgia Tech, looking at who they played,
Yeah.
because this is where it gets really dicey. Like Miami's cards is really going to be more for Virginia to lose than oh shit, that's Georgia. Hold on, let me pull it back up.
Yeah. I
Because
mean, I know that the Pitt game would be huge if Miami does run the table, especially if that one loss is the Pitt game that we're
yes,
hoping would be. So,
that's
yeah.
yeah, because that's the week before Pitt hosts us. So the rest of the games, obviously, they've won every game. But as far as a common opponent, um, they well, there's no Clemson wasn't
There's
on the
not.
schedule.
No, I mean, it's weird.
There's none because they
We
beat
didn't play
Virginia Tech.
Duke. Mm-hmm.
Virginia Tech is the only one. They beat Syracuse, who will have. They do have NC State, and they do have Boston College, and they do have Pitt.
Yeah.
So beginning next week, they got 3 games against common opponents. So basically, it's going to come down to us handling business and the common opponents that we still have to play. Georgia Tech plays those 3,
Yeah.
and Virginia plays a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely a chance, but if they lose to SMU, it's over.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
ACC championship hopes are over, and I really believe playoff hopes are over.
Yep. And you see, that's my thing that really. But why are we having this conversation with a competent coach? The 5 of us right now having this discussion, whether you're on the chat or on this right now speaking live, should be, man, we're gonna beat their dick in by 30 points. That's what we should
Yeah,
be talking about. We're talking about here just surviving and advancing like we're in March Madness or some shit.
yeah,
I mean, it's unbelievable. And why would anybody enable that? Go root for another team if you're happy. Like what the guy said to AO. Well, you guys are bitching and moaning about a 40-point win. It wasn't a 40-point win. It was a 35-point win. And we
right,
should have won by 50. Learn math. Okay, we've covered. We covered. And we had
right,
40 on the board. But it was a tough 40. You should have had that 40 in the first half and gotten the younger guys in. You risked playing some of these guys like a Bain, like a Mawanoa, way longer than they should have been out there, man. This was that
right,
one opponent. You might have one more in Virginia Tech, but this was another like Bethune-Cookman game on your schedule. And these are
right.
becoming far and few between. But yet Ohio State finds ways to get their young guys on the field and when they're kicking ass. Indiana found ways to beat the fuck out of UCLA yesterday. Go ahead, Larry.
It just behooves me that Mario with this fucking loyalty. See, I could talk a little
Oh,
bit over here. I can't do it at U Talk
yeah.
because, like I said, at U Talk, we're being watched, so I got to be
Larry,
careful.
Larry, I don't know what your nickname was. This is Stallion Speaks. Anybody that's on this show, you speak your piece. It's edgy, baby.
I'm
That's
gonna
what I
speak.
like here.
It's Stallion speaks and it's
There's
after
truth
dark. So
facts here.
I'm gonna say a few
Damn
things
right
here.
it is.
Um,
Damn right.
Mario with this damn loyalty. And the thing about it is, I just feel like Mario is just playing this game where he's a fucking shoe salesman, man.
He
He's
is.
selling a wolf card, and these fans are buying it, man. And it's like they will not hold his
Horrible.
feet to the fire because he's an alumni that won a national championship. It's like it kills them to admit that he's not perfect. It's like you hype these recruiting classes You're pimping the numbers of the recruiting class. You're pimping the way it looks to make yourself look good to say you have a high ranked recruiting class, only to not develop most of them and have the other half of them leave. You ain't doing shit with these recruiting classes. Your quarterbacks are transfers. Your offensive line, your center. You haven't have a damn homegrown center in 4 fucking years. Like, what the
Larry, your
fuck are you doing?
kicker. You inherited Borregales. I mean, your kickers are damn transfers from UCF in Texas, and that guy couldn't make a damn kick. Bert Auburn. Bert. Old Bert.
At this point,
With his mullet.
I don't even think they groom water boys right, man. I think they're getting fucking transfer water boys from other places, man.
They'll
It's
find a
just,
way. He would fuck up a wet dream, man. He would.
yeah, man. You would
I'm
wake up,
telling you.
you would wake up dry and everything, man. Real talk.
I mean,
Shit.
let me tell you something. This is what this is all about. You know that, honestly. This is where I need to learn sound effects, where it's like stallion speed. No. What we need to do is a or some horse thing or whatever like that. Every time that piece of shit fucks up. Honestly, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
man.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's horrible. And the thing is that he has that 1,000-yard stare on his face, like he got kicked in the balls from the back. And I'm telling you, why I turned on him? When that Georgia Tech fiasco happened, should have never happened in a million years.
And he threw Chaney under the bus.
And Chaney was never the same player. And Chaney, once upon a time, was a fantastic running
He
back.
was. Him and Jalen Knighton together was a good 1-2 punch.
And then you look at that, man. Knighton did great at SMU. Why the fuck couldn't he do great here under that? With that, and you unleash a beast like that. You get somebody like that in space and make him do some nice things. Honestly, both those backs were 3 and 4 coming out of high school. Yeah. You managed to fuck them up. Honestly, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, Van Dyke, we were talking about as a potential Heisman Trophy candidate. I mean,
that's right.
Horrible.
That's right. Messed him up down the stretch.
I mean, he was the only exciting thing about the end of Manny's tenure. Those 6 games got us to a bowl game. Then kind of COVID was still around, and we were like, you know what? We're not going to play in this game. Okay. All right. Well, Mario's here now. Manny's fired. Let's see what happens. And it's just been so-so. I mean, what can we really hang our hats on? That we're state champs, like Ellen joked around with last week with the shirts? Yeah, go buy your shirt. We've beaten 2 bad FSU and Florida teams. And that's what they are. They're not like what – let me tell you this. That state champ shirt from 2001 back then, that was a real state champ shirt back then because it was still Bobby's guys and Spurrier's guys back then. Honestly, that was a real damn state championship shirt, not this. So.
And my agony continues because before I came on the show, Pittsburgh was winning, and now they're losing.
Are you kidding me?
35-25.
Well, and I wanted to get to NFL real quick before we wrapped up or whatever like that. And guys, let me tell you something. Real quick, I wanted to show the AP poll down below. But look at these games this week, man. Chargers beat the Vikings. The Jets come back and beat the Bengals. What the fuck happened there? The Dolphins look like world beaters. The Bills took care of the Panthers. That's not a surprise. The 49ers, I think, were only great last week because they played the Falcons. They came back down to earth. Man, I felt bad for old Cam Scatterboot today.
Yeah, that was snapped his ankle, bro.
And that was 2 days in a row because the Missouri quarterback got tackled weirdly in the Vanderbilt game on the goal line on that 4th down stop. And realistically, Missouri had a backup quarterback from the midway 3rd quarter till the end of the game. That game could have gone different if the Missouri quarterback doesn't get hurt there and so forth.
The Giants lost 2 players because was it Malik Neighbor? No. Who else got hurt? Somebody else got hurt that's out for the season because I was reading.
Neighbors got hurt a couple weeks ago, was it, or something?
Somebody else today got hurt. It was 2 of them. I was reading that they lost 2 players for the season.
Yeah. I mean, but then there's that, and then we knew the Buccaneers were going to beat the Saints. The Titans are horrendous, and the Cowboys got their ass promptly kicked by the Broncos. I mean, and I say all that is it's like the Bengals were looking great there, and I couldn't believe that the Jets found a way to come back. And then all these people that were calling Justin Fields trash, I was just trying to say, it's like, look, man, I don't think he's that bad of a quarterback. I just think if he finds the right situation, he could be a good quarterback.
Don't get me started on that again.
Yeah.
Devin rags me, but Devin, man, I tell Devin all the time, I'm like, if Justin Fields would have had a quarterback coach in Pittsburgh to work with him, that could have been our franchise quarterback. I'm
Uh-huh.
not saying he had to be great. I'm not saying he had to try to become, Air McNair or nothing like that. But Justin Fields can play.
Yeah, he
He
can.
can play. He's got wheels. He can run. I just love dual threat quarterbacks.
Yeah. So Brandon Brock, yeah, yes, neighbors a few weeks ago with the meniscus, and now Scadaboo, and that sucks
Yeah.
because those were two promising young guys for that organization, and hopefully they come back. Jake Garcia, can you imagine? He's on his like sixth team or something like that, and
Mm,
oh my gosh, I mean, yeah, that's the thing, and and Larry, like, look at what Justin Fields came from. I mean, he was Ohio State's whole team that even got them in a position to compete
mhm.
for a national title. They got the doors blown off of them, but he got a second chance when he didn't make it at Georgia, honestly, and
Yeah.
did very well at Ohio State and got himself drafted. And he's just been in some, not the Steelers, but the Bears. I mean, look at what's going on with Caleb Williams up there, man. That's not a
Yeah.
good situation for him. They got the shit whipped out of them today, and the
Everybody that
Browns got destroyed by the Patriots.
everybody that did Justin Fields wrong is getting karma. The Bears
Mm,
did him wrong, and look at them. The Steelers, I mean,
yep.
he was, my God's sakes, he was 4-2 as a starter, and you decided to go with Russell Wilson, and that tore me up because listen, I love Russell Wilson as a person. I mean, but
Yeah.
let's be honest, his best days are behind him.
Way behind
Man,
him.
listen, go with Sierra and go raise your kids and make more babies and get the fuck out of the NFL. I don't want to see you anymore.
Honestly, he should be on NFL Network. He's a good-looking guy. He speaks well, or whatever like that.
Yes.
Why hasn't he taken that money yet?
Yeah.
Honestly, at this
Yeah.
point, I mean, so he looks prime for the thing to take one of them announcing jobs. I mean,
Yes.
here's the other thing too. I love what you just said right there. I mean. Like why did the Steelers mess that up? And now, like you said, I'm sorry, I'm not even watching the game that they're down. But the thing is you look at this situation. That's 2 weeks in a row, and then Flacco has somehow found something with the Bengals to make them competitive. That his numbers weren't horrible today. I mean, I don't even know how that
Hmm.
guy's still making it. I mean, wow, 38 points. I know it was the Jets, but he's still slinging the ball around. I mean, damn.
Dude, Pittsburgh had a golden opportunity just a mere 6 days ago because
The
if they
Bengals.
would have beaten the Bengals on Monday night and held this lead tonight, right now they're gonna go to 4-3. They would have been 6-1. You've got Baltimore at 2-5.
Yep.
I think the Bengals are 2-5, and I think the Browns are 2-5, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
Larry, you just gave a great segue to the next one, by the way. My favorite segment, tanking for who? Here's the updated standings in case you all were wondering about bad football teams that are professionally run. And you talk about money being wasted down the drain, man. It's worse than
Hmm.
going to see Bridget the Midget on an afternoon in San Diego. But here's the thing, the Jets got their first win today. So congratulations. You've held the number one spot, 1-7. The
Hmm.
Titans promptly switched places with the Dolphins with their beautiful performance today. Jonathan Taylor with that 80-yard run, 1-7. The Saints, good job, 1-7. Dolphins, congratulations, you're now 2-6. The Ravens, you moved up a spot with your 2-6 performance.
Mm.
The Browns, you stayed put where you were at. Giants, unfortunately, I'm not making fun because you were at number 9, but you've traded with Devin's Raiders, and the only reason why the Raiders and Cardinals are at that
They
spot
were
is
off
they didn't
this
have a
week.
game this week, so they'll be
Yeah.
promptly back in the 7-8 spot next week, regardless of what happens with the Giants and so forth. And I think the Giants might even be off next week, if I'm not mistaken. But the point of the matter is these are all teams that are. I've never seen so many bad teams with records. This is like a Major League Baseball. Like you have so many bottom feeders with so many professional teams that don't invest and spend the money like the Yankees and the Red Sox and those teams do. But look at
Right.
this right here, man. This, and some of these organizations have a history, have a brand. They're major markets we're talking here, and they are just absolute crap. I mean, this
I'm
is
sticking with the
craptastic.
Saints. I'm sticking with my home team. I'm sticking with the Saints. They're going to get the number one pick because I watched that game today. They look like pure D shit. Terrible. If you look at what happened with Spencer Rattler, He fucking threw a pass. It got bobbled. The guy caught it. He fell down and tried to tackle him, and the guy just steps over him, a la Allen Iverson over Tyronn Lue of with the Lakers. Like he just steps over him and just walks into the end zone, and then he gets benched. And Tyler Shuck comes in, and then he throws a fucking pick six out there or intercept. Something happened. It led to a score. Like the Saints are just fucking ass, man. They are. When I say they are ass, these motherfuckers are. I'm talking both cheeks, dimples, and crack. They're 100% ass, bro.
Dingleberries hanging from the hip from everywhere. I mean, Ellen, you're not missing anything. The only reason I'm actually watching now is because there's a couple of players that I like. I mean, my teams are horrendous. The Dolphins and Titans are just shit. But here's the best part about it is that and how is it possible that there is insane amounts of money being spent on overqualified individuals that have no business coaching positions or have head coaching positions. You have general managers that are trash. And honestly, the fans are paying hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for season tickets or just to even go to a game and buy the merchandise and a park and everything. And it's like you said, Larry, we love football. It's like this great distraction for the horribleness that really goes on in this world. But we're already in almost November, guys. I mean, it's halfway over already, and it's but it's like somebody's pumping money into this, and it's like you might as well just take some money and burn it in the backyard. That would be more of a spectacle than what you're seeing here on a Sunday night. And I don't have the time to invest in it, honestly, I don't. And yet somebody is. And I feel for those fans that pay for those jerseys that are upwards for about $150 now and so forth. I mean, it's just disgusting. And they deserve a better product, these fans. The Dolphins fans, I mean, you've had the Panthers win championships in hockey. You've had the Heat win it. You've even had the sorry-ass Marlins win a couple. And the sad part is that the Dolphins are still number one in Miami and haven't done shit in 40 years.
40.
I mean, as old as me was the last time a Super Bowl appearance. The last time they were on the cusp of one, I was 8 in 92 when they blew the game against the Bills in the AFC Championship.
I remember that. And
they would have gotten their asses kicked by that Cowboys team.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, but at least it would have been like, hey, Marino got to go to another Super Bowl at least, I mean, I'm just saying, as a guy that lived and grew up in the 305, man, it was always Miami Hurricanes on Saturday and the Dolphins on Sunday. And that was even like that when we moved up here to Knoxville. And then after a while, after how they did Shula, but there's a curse for all these teams. I think Joe Namath sold his soul because the Jets have been asked, except for that 1 year with Parcells and Testaverde. The Saints, they don't know how good they had it with damn Sean Payton, man. They did. And Drew Brees and all that. I mean, you should be lucky you had that. The Ravens, they're down here, which is really weird. This is just a weird season for them because usually they're more at the top. The Browns are an ass organization. The Giants, I don't know what's happened because they used to be the team that was always up there in that NFC East, man. They always were. Cardinals, Raiders, God, nobody fucked with them back in the 70s and the 80s, man. Nobody did. So, honestly, man, nobody fucked with them. So their brand was bad. They had bad dudes that wanted to kill you on the field. I mean, dude, Al Davis, John Madden, do I need to say more? Honestly, man, just killers.
You called it.
Killers. And you don't have that. You've got these pencil dweeb nerds that have way too much money that thought to themselves, oh, I think it'd be cool to own an NFL football team. Man, tell you this, Jerry Jones is a lot of things, man. He's the last of that old school thing, and credit the old bastard. I mean, he's still around and everything like that. And we're going to miss him when he's gone. We are, because there's no even fun owners. Honestly, I now appreciate Mark Cuban, to be honest with you. And I really want to talk about that real quick because that pissed me off this week. First off, everybody on Cooper Flagg for his performance the other night. Okay, listen, whether you like the boy or not, the boy can play. First off, he's playing out of position. And the other thing, too, is Victor Wembanyama is just a freak, man. And he is just awesome of what he's been doing. And look, Wembanyama is now in year 3, and he had last year cut with an injury. And
Hmm.
now he's looking exactly. Why don't we give Cooper at least 3 years before we
Yeah,
start
you have to.
labeling busts and shit like that? I couldn't believe that. And the thing is when Kyrie Irving comes back, I think the Mavericks are going to look a little bit better. I don't know. But Kyrie is now at the latter part of his career, but at the same time, he's a point guard. If Clay's knocking them jumpers down, if AD and Cooper are cleaning up on the sides, and Derek Lively's playing defense, that's a solid starting five right there. So, I mean, you can't just judge this guy for one game. Honestly, playing out of position, I thought that was just bullshit this week. I really did. And then some of these other teams that just look so much better. I mean, the Hornets actually have a winning record. I mean, can you
Well,
imagine? The Hornets have a
put it.
winning record.
I'm
So
gonna
yeah.
put it to you like this. I'm gonna keep my eyes open right now because this situation, and I know you guys are gonna talk about it on Rebels with a Cause this week.
Hmm.
This situation with Chauncey Billups
Ooh.
and the NBA gambling ring and all of that, where the feds came in, there's going to be a lot of players, and it's going to be some very interesting names that are going to come out that are involved with this.
Hmm.
I'm seeing that Kevin Garnett was involved to some degree. More stuff has to come out. There's speculation that LeBron possibly is involved. Um, there's speculation that the NBA ref, I forgot his name, but that crooked ref that's always making bad calls that was investigated before, that he's involved. I read that Chauncey Billups gave up 35 names. He started snitching like Nino Brown on the stand. He said, if I'm going down, I'm taking everybody with me. Like this was New Jack City.
Wow.
And it's just so many more names that's going to come out. And I got something to tell you. When
Hmm.
they're done with the NBA, the NFL is next.
Hmm. Yep. This could be a bigger scandal, and just think you didn't even have the media of the Black Sox throwing the series and everything like that,
Yeah.
and all those guys got banned, if you remember. And poor Pete Rose, I mean, God, did he get through the ringer and everything like
Yeah.
that? This is going to be something really, really bad. You're right,
But
Larry, and
look at the
yeah,
timing. The
mhm,
timing when all of this came out, literally like
yeah,
opening night, like the
yeah.
next night on opening night, opening week. Like, and the feds, I was watching the press conference, Cash Patel said this has been like a 6, 7 year investigation. So that tells me, and dudes, you're working with these crime families. The Gambino
Hmm.
crime family, all of these
Yep, the
mafia
five families.
families up
Yes.
in New York and the
Yep.
boroughs in New York and New Jersey. Dude, I mean, y- now when you start talking load management, I'm looking twice at a player when they're talking about load management. Are you really taking off because you're worried about saving yourself, or are you taking off because you're helping the team shave points? And then you've got these illegal poker games, and you got, I think somebody had won like $200,000, I was reading, and they didn't get paid, so they called the big dogs in there, and it was some the stuff you see in the movies going on, people getting their ass kicked and getting limbs
Thumbs were
broken.
broken, so
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah.
So this shit is like out the just crazy the way this shit came out,
Well,
you know?
well, and Larry, you know what? Let me just do this real quick because I want this ticker on here while you keep talking about it because it is something really quick that I do want to touch on, and it can't be ignored, brother. Look at the results of these college football games because it brings up to what you brought up last week about that Vegas has an interest in this, and you've got these referees that are making some calls here and so forth. I
Mhm.
mean, the fact that Alabama came back in 3 minutes time, I mean, whatever. I mean, what about this Texas? Texas should have lost last week or this past weekend. And
Yeah,
then Memphis scored 17 something points against South Florida. And it was a total collapse in the fourth quarter there against South Florida. I mean,
yeah.
by South Florida. I can't believe that, you know?
It's some dealings going on, obviously, but the thing
Yeah.
about it is you got to prove it.
You got to
Unless you can
prove it.
go and dig these guys up, and these guys, unless these guys are their FanDuel passwords and stuff are uncovered, or BetMGM or whatever, Caesars, whatever they bet with, there's nothing you can say. And I mean, to gamble on this stuff, they don't have to create an account. All they got to do is get one of their buddies that nobody knows about. Hey, look, keep this under the hat. I got something for you. Go put a bet
Hmm.
on this game right here. I'm refereeing this game. Here's
Hmm.
$5,000. I win 10,000. Guess what?
Yep.
2,500 is for
Look
you
at
when it
this.
comes to.
KG has been mentioned so far as like a guy who's been scammed. He played on the X-ray poker table, unaware that his cards could be read. Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I'm gonna tell you this, man. Then Chauncey Billups, man. I mean, like snitches get stitches, man. I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know what they'll find your ass somewhere, man. I don't know what immunity deal you wanted. Just take the loss, man. Honestly,
Well,
if
I
you
think that's why he decided to just go ahead on and give up the names. And now, I mean, he's gonna do time. There's no doubt about it because he's one of the heavy
um,
hitters in there. But he's probably gonna get a maximum security prison. They're gonna send him somewhere where people can't get to him.
yeah.
He ain't
Look
going
at
in general population.
Look what Ellen said. Yeah, what about last week? A lot of top teams lost. Yeah, exactly. And that's my point. Like what was so special about this damn week, Like
Yeah,
next week, you know what that means? Next week is going to be absolute chaos. I mean, we've already predicted Miami's going to lose, which
yeah.
they'll heighten that up. And it
No,
being the noon
no
game, it'll
top
be tough
10
the whole rest
teams
of the day.
lost yesterday. No
None.
top 10 teams lost yesterday. So that
None.
tells me they got to make up for it.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and if you look at that schedule next week, obviously, you got us with SMU. Now you do have Alabama who's idle.
Mhm.
Um, Matter of fact, let me go and look at the schedule right
Oh,
quick.
look at it. Because here's the thing, Larry, at the beginning of the year, when you were on Rebels with a Cause, we talked about fun weekends with a lot of the big matchups based on these preseason top 25 that you might as well just shred through a shredder. The Ohio State Penn State game was supposed to be the game this weekend, and it's nothing. It's just
Yeah.
the game that's on TV. The Florida Georgia game had potential at the beginning of the year. That's just the world's biggest cocktail, whatever. I mean, a
Hmm.
lot of those games have lost luster, but yet you do have some matchups that could go that way with the Miami SMU. You've got Vanderbilt at Texas. That looking back, nobody thought Vanderbilt would be ranked. Everybody thought Texas would be one of the top 5 teams. Texas is just trying to survive right now, and
Yeah.
A&M is going to promptly handle them in a couple weeks. I don't give a damn who's at quarterback for them. But I'm telling you, man, Elko can coach. A&M is in a really good position right now. They actually look like the realest team in the SEC. They really do. Coached, offense badass, defense does enough just to win. They don't beat themselves. They're opportunistic, and they've handled business each and every week.
So real quick
Can't hate that.
before we get
Before we
out of
go up,
here,
yeah,
real quick
yep,
before we get out of here, I'm looking
yep.
at the games next week. So you got number 9 Vanderbilt at Texas. They'll probably let Vanderbilt lose because Vanderbilt. There's no way they're gonna let Vanderbilt keep winning. Even though I think
Hmm.
Vanderbilt's doing a great job, they're not gonna let
Yeah,
Vanderbilt throw
it's a
that much.
shame. They're fun to
Yeah,
watch.
yeah.
Yep.
And then you got Penn State at Ohio State. Um, Ohio State should win, but that game may be closer. They'll probably
Hmm.
let Penn State cover. They'll probably get like a 24, 27 point line and they'll cover. Obviously, you got Miami at SMU, which I'm picking SMU to win. You
Correct.
got Georgia at Florida, which you never know. You never know. I mean, Georgia should win, but you never know. We're number 10. Here's the thing. We're not even a full-fledged number 10. We're 10A with BYU. Like we're not even good enough to hold the top 10 spot on our own. They got us in BYU as code number 10s. I've never seen that bullshit in my life.
Coming right now for you, Chris, right underneath there. Vanderbilt's 9, and we are sharing the 10th spot with BYU, baby.
How the
So keep going,
fuck
Larry.
how the fuck are we sharing the 10 spot with BYU, man?
It's a pussy
Um
ass thing, is what it was. So yeah, yeah,
Notre
it really
Dame
was.
is at Boston College. That's what game to watch. Indiana's
I hope
hosting
you're right,
Maryland.
Brandon. I hope I'm wrong. I told you talk this. I hope you're right. But you keep going though. So
I
sorry,
want to be
Larry. Yeah,
wrong too, man. I want to be
yeah,
wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm the first thing I'm doing Sunday morning, man. I'm getting on there and
and
say,
I'll be the
"Well,
second.
Miami, good job, man. You proved me wrong."
Yep,
Hey,
yep,
hey, I want to be wrong. Here's the one that I think we can book this one. I got you got Ole Miss and South Carolina. South Carolina's going to upset them. They're going to
yep.
upset them.
They'll
And then
throw South Carolina a bone because of
yeah,
yesterday. Yep,
there's
yep.
no way the top 10 is going to win all their games 2 weeks in
Is
a row.
Oregon playing next week, or are they
Oregon is
off?
off. Oregon is off, so they're
So that's their
safe.
second off week. So shoot. Okay. Well, the thing that I was going to bring up, yeah, exactly. What kind of shit is that? It's shit. It's bullshit. Honestly.
Yeah.
And Brendan, I'm going to tell you this real quick before me and Larry. I got one more thing that me and Larry got to do before we get out of here. And it's been a great show. I love this, man. I could do this all day. And next week we'll be back at the regular time again. But I think
Right.
Miami beats SMU, but it will be close. Here's the other thing too, Brandon. I hope you are right because here's the thing. The ACC and the TV did nothing to help Miami with this. They did
Mm-mm,
not. And
mm-mm.
again, Ohio State would never have to play something like this ever. Ever. They could have done that to them. I mean, at the Washington 9 in the morning, they wouldn't have done it, but they did it bad enough to put them at 3:30 to give them a 12:30 game. You know what I mean? A couple weeks ago, and they still found a way to win. But I'm just saying that it's just ridiculous. And as a matter of fact, leave us there. We should have won our fucking games. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're right. We should have. We should have. So, real quick, Larry, because it is my segment. Do you have an idiot of the week this week, by the way? You know, who do you have as your idiot of the week? So, yeah.
Oh man, I got a couple of them, man. It's tough because I mean, I can go with the Saints organization. I mean, goodness, man. I can go with Birdman because after the verses last night, he goes on to call Turk a bitch. When he was thanking everybody. Um, but I gotta stay with the hot news, man. I gotta go with Brian Kelly because you knew you were on the hot seat. I mean, when you were coming off the field, the fans were chanting "Fire Kelly." They were
Mm-hmm.
chanting that shit, and then the assistant AD caught Brian Kelly, and they had a very serious conversation, which was caught on video, by the way. You could tell it was something serious. And then they call you in there today and say, "Look, man, we're gonna." And the thing about it is the buyout was so big that you would have survived. You would have essentially had another chance to right the ship, kind of pull the Les Miles. You didn't want to change your personnel and change this and that. And they told you, say, look, man, Joe Sloan's got to go. We got a good defense and the offense is not doing anything. Get rid of your OC. And he said, no, I'm sticking with him. That's my guy. He said, okay, well, you know what? He's gone and you too. Get the fuck out of here. So you're the idiot of the week because you got fired looking out for somebody else.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, my idiot of the week. I had been going back and forth on this, and then the more you talked about what happened, I was just thinking to myself, you know what? This son of a bitch deserves this. Okay, it's Bill Belichick. Okay, here's why.
Hmm.
First off, you have a home game. The North Carolina fans, man, they show up. For a basketball school, they show up to the football games. They do. And it's a really hostile environment when it can be. You had a top 25 team there. You probably had recruits, maybe even for basketball as well, that would show up. And the sad part about it is you have the team on the ropes. You've got all that momentum, and you decide to go for two for the win. And yet you could have just gone ahead, kicked the extra point, and take it to the next overtime and see what happens. This
Right.
after you blumbered down there in Cal and you had a chance to win that one. And it's just a fucking clown show of epic proportions. And North Carolina, you gave up Mac Brown for this? Really? I mean, Mac Brown was our daddy, and I hate to say it. I
He
hated that
was.
asshole.
He
I mean,
was.
he's consoling Manny, going, "It's just not right. It's just not. Of course, it's not right. You want to keep beating their ass." And then he figured out, "Oh, Mario ain't as bad as I thought he was going to be." I mean, that guy was our daddy. He really was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
us, honestly. But yeah, but no, Bill Belichick is the idiot of the week. But you know what? Keep enjoying the gold digger, man. You're doing something right, at least, because I don't know what I'm doing, but he is a dumbass. They're both dumbasses. And back to Ellen's with the professional teams, all those owners of our little friends there or whatever, and general managers, they all are collectively and just worthless. They are absolutely just all losers right there.
Yeah.
They're all fucking losers. So, yep. Nobody wants to get better, but they'll take your money. They'll take your money
All the
and
time.
piss you off and
All
piss
the
you
time.
off. So, and Miami is not, and our Canes are not that far behind, and they need to do better. And they need
Oh
to
yeah.
take
Mario's
that
in the
step
running.
next week. Take that step next week. Prove Larry Frank, prove Stallion wrong, and go and show that you have made that step as a program to kick an inferior team's ass. Don't let the leftovers beat us, because that was our fear last year. And you know what? With the Swiss cheese defense we had, I think they would have done it. Larry, final thoughts before we get out of here, man.
Oh man, listen. I love doing this, man. We
I
we
love
we
it, man.
keeping the tradition
Welcome
going from
anytime.
what like we taking it from the old Facebook days to live here on YouTube. Look, tomorrow we are going to talk about this government shutdown on Real Talk and the effect on the SNAP benefits and the medical program, the government programs rather that are going to be canceled. So it's going to be a real hot topic on Wednesday. We got a Hall of Fame running back Eric Dickerson will be on U Talk.
Wow.
Um, so we got that. So be on the lookout for that. Thursday we'll be previewing the SMU game, and Sunday next week, hopefully I get to come on and say I was wrong and give props, but we'll talk about
Absolutely.
the recap. So getting to that time of year, man, getting to that time of year, because I mean, we hit November this week. Halloween is Friday. It's actually
Halloween's
getting
Friday.
cold. And last thing I want to say, prayers for Jamaica, man, because I think this hurricane, this Cat 5 Melissa, is
It's a
supposed to
killer.
it's supposed to sit over Jamaica for like 2 days, and they said that it's going to be
Yep,
a
for two
massive
days.
loss of life. I
Yep.
was seeing. So this Listen, having been down here with Katrina, man, when you start talking Cat 5 hurricanes, man, I get PTSD, bro. I just hate.
Yeah.
The only time that hurricanes do not bother me is when we're talking Miami. Other than that, when you say
That's
hurricane,
right.
I get triggered a little bit. So prayers for them and everybody else in
Hmm.
the path.
Absolutely prayers for them because they don't even have the benefit that if they don't get off the fucking island, I mean they're stuck there and they've got to
Done.
hunker down, and the way their geography is that there could be catastrophic floods because of the mountains, and they're not
Yep.
used to that amount of rain coming and the way it's coming, and like you said, it's just a slow moving storm that's just going to sit over them from Tuesday all the way through Wednesday, and
Yes.
then go through like the western part of Cuba, and then the Bahamas and Bermuda might be next, depending on what happens, but it won't even be the near sheer power of what this Category 5 is supposed to
And
be.
and
And the
and
U.S.
what's
is going to be spared somehow. I don't
and
know,
what's
but
what's
yeah,
crazy about that is we were just talking, a while back about how we were blessed, hurricane season, because like here in Louisiana, obviously Katrina, the anniversary date of Katrina is August 29th.
hmm
So if we can get my mom's birthday is August 25th. So for me, that was always the marking point. If I could get past my mom's birthday, I felt like, okay, we dodged a bullet. But the last couple of years, we've been getting storms later and later. We've been getting storms in September. And then
hmm
a couple of years back, we got one in early October. So I'm just thinking to myself, okay, we really were blessed. We dodged a bullet this year, because technically hurricane season is over November the 1st. And when I
yeah,
looked and
yeah,
I thought it was a hoax. I thought it was like a dirty AI prank. Like I'm seeing all of these Martin Luther King videos where he's got the championship and he's,
yeah.
beating the shit out of Malcolm X and everybody. I saw him and Mahatma Gandhi was going to have a steel cage match. I love AI, by the way. And I'm thinking
hmm
it's another AI video, and I did a research, and it's like this shit is real. So to have a hurricane that potentially
Yep,
goes into November,
yep.
man,
Yep,
crazy.
and it came out of nowhere. I mean, it came out of nowhere, like you said. You should be at the tail end of this, and it's done. And now you may need to be worried about going into December. And it really is like that. I feel that June the 1st might be a little bit early overkill because it might almost be July 1st is when really they should almost like maybe change when it really
Change the
is because
start
the
date.
patterns
Yeah,
are changing. Yeah, and
yeah,
I'm noticing more of these badass storms are more developing in the Caribbean than they
yes.
really are off the coast of
Coast of
Africa,
Africa.
because that's how it used to be, that it was coming from the fuego over there and all that
Yeah,
and so forth, the winds. But I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's scary stuff. But they're in my prayers for sure because you being dealing with Katrina, me dealing with Hurricane Andrew that moved me up here to Knoxville because of Hurricane
oh,
Andrew,
I dealt with
and that
Andrew
was
too.
on August. Yeah, you did.
Yep.
That's right.
I
Andrew
dealt I
did go
dealt with
back up
it
through
because
there. Yeah,
Andrew left y'all and Andrew came over here to
and then it went.
Louisiana and fucked us up. I remember that. I
That's right.
remember
It
that.
it picked up strength in the Gulf, in the warm waters of the Gulf. Yeah.
It
So
did.
August, woof. I mean, so it's been rough, man. Honestly. So
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that year with Katrina, Wilma fucked up the Orange Bowl. We didn't even have proper lights for that Georgia Tech game, and Georgia Tech pulled that upset on a Miami
Well,
team that had no business losing that game.
the
So yep.
irony is the hurricanes that came off and hit Miami or came from down there in South Florida that got into the Gulf and gained strength and came to Louisiana and got us. That is just I don't know what it is with that because I can remember for Andrew in '92 we had football and back then we was doing 2 a days and I'll never forget, man. We had our second session and we would always go from 3 to 5, and it was like 3:30, and like we were just kind of really getting into practice, and coach came out and coach told us, he said, look, everybody go home. And we didn't have no internet, we didn't know nothing, and we were teenagers. We weren't worrying about
Mm-hmm.
the news or anything like that. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And he said, the
Yep.
school will be in
Yep.
touch. And I was 15, and my neighbor, I was riding with him. I used to catch rides with him back and forth to practice because he was a senior when I was a sophomore. And he put the radio on, and that's when we started hearing it. So when I get in the house, I get home, my mom and dad sitting there at the TV. I throw my shit down. I'm like, what's going on? My dad said, hurricane's coming. And that was my first real experience with a hurricane. The only experience I remember with a hurricane prior to that was Hurricane Juan in 1985, but I was 7 years old. So it wasn't that
You
bad.
were
We lost
young,
power for
yeah.
like 3 days, but Andrew was the trendsetter for me, and Katrina
Mm-hmm.
changed the game. And
Yeah, it
dude,
did.
that was the only other thing that fucked us up for football practice. Well, it didn't fuck us up for football practice, but the only other thing that after football practice everything stopped was coming home my senior year, at the beginning of my senior year in June, and watching the white Bronco with OJ Simpson. Because when I got home from
Mm-hmm.
practice and I'm looking, and my mom, my dad, my aunt, my cousin, all of them was visiting, and they're all up there, and I'm like, what's going on? And my dad, OJ didn't kill a motherfucker, and he running from the police. Like
Wow.
literally, that's how my dad told it to me. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Real quick about Hurricane Andrew, the thing I remember because I was 8 years old and our house was just absolutely big ficus tree fell on it. I'm lucky to be
Mm-hmm.
alive, to be honest with you. But the truth of the matter is, I still remember Dan Marino and Gino Toretta because you got to think the Canes were coming off a national championship. They were
Yep.
going for back to back,
Yep.
and I remember the Hurricanes and the Dolphins like did a lot of charity work during that year, and realistically they both had very special seasons that ultimately ended. Like I said, the Dolphins ironically lost in that AFC Championship game to the Bills, and the Canes lost unfortunately to Alabama in that Sugar Bowl. Where Lamar Thomas gets stripped by George Teague, that
Mm-hmm.
infamous thing. And realistically, it was a great distraction for the city of Miami. And
Yeah.
we rallied around those teams at that time. And it was a great distraction as everybody was trying to rebuild and everything like that. And it really was it's ironic that both those teams got as far as almost you could get, and
Yeah.
then realistically the bottom kind of dropped out after that, for a while first,
Right.
especially the Dolphins. It's been never ending, but Canes, it took a minute, with the sanctions and Butch and so forth. So but
Yeah.
yeah, but great show, man, as always. But listen, we'll be back at our regular time next week. We went a little bit long tonight. I'm sorry about that exhibition game, but anyway, love you guys. Continue to hit it. Real quick, Larry, I don't know if you saw this at the beginning, and for the people that came on late,
Mm.
again, we are now up to, and I can't thank everybody enough, we are now up to 119 subscribers on the channel and over
Hey.
17,000 views. So thank you. And last week we had 45 views. So just keep spreading the word. And we're just going to keep this thing growing just like the Utah channel has done. And I would just even be blessed to even get to 1,000 this time next year, as we keep going. But
Well,
anyway,
I
love
told
you,
you,
Larry
man.
Frank.
I love
Yeah,
you
man.
back, bro. I told you, you're the spinoff, man. This is the spinoff
We
of You
are
Talk, man, and
The Jeffersons to All in the Family.
all
I'm
in the
telling you.
family.
So
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm Archie, and you George. Even though that shit's kind of
There,
backwards, but fuck it, you get the
no,
gist of it.
it's a modern day take on it, and that's the way I kind of dance, and I'm such a drama queen when I win or lose, honestly. So absolutely,
Absolutely.
so you
Absolutely.
bet, brother. I love you,
Love you
chat.
back.
Be good to one another. Let's hope for a damn good Canes win on Saturday, fucking Mario, and go Canes, baby. We're out. We done.